Welcome to Coastside Poetry. Thanks to those of you who've zoomed in and those who are watching on YouTube. We meet either physically or virtually on the second Tuesday of every month to celebrate spoken poetry. I'm Diane Lee Mumi, and Steve Long and I are your hosts this evening. Our featured poet event is being recorded and streamed live onto YouTube as we speak. So anyone can look at it later. We'll be posting the link on our website, coastsidepoetry.org. This evening, we welcome beat poet Clive Matson. Clive fell in with the beats as a young poet in New York City in the early 1960s, mentored by Allen Ginsberg, Diane Prima, and Herbert Huncke, and influenced by Alden Van Buskirk, Michael McClure, and John Wieners. He became immersed in the stream of passionate intensity that runs through us all, and he stopped trying to go anywhere else. His first book of poetry, Mainline to the Heart, was published in 1966 by Diane Prima's Poets Press. He'll read a variety of early works, plus excerpts from Hello, Paradise, Paradise Goodbye, an epic poem of 200 pages forthcoming from the National Beat Poetry Foundation. And now, please welcome Clive Matson.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here, and all my thanks to Diane and to Steve for giving me their platform. I think I will read 4 poems, and I'll start with one that is recent. And a friend who heard it told me that he laughed all the way through the poem, and my jaw dropped. You'll see there's not obviously something to laugh at. And I ended up thinking, this guy must be enlightened to hear this bad news and yet to see humor in it. Or who would laugh at the bad news? Someone who had created it? I couldn't make up my mind. And somewhere in the argument in my own head, I forgot who it was who made that comment. But it's, sometimes I don't know how you are, but sometimes lines stick in my head and I have no reason, no memory of why they're there, and no reason to think that they should stay. And yet they do. They have a life of their own. At some point, I'll say something about how writing poetry is a pagan experience. That sounds like part of it, doesn't it? Where everything is alive and moving around, and they've all got their own agendas or purposes in this wild world. But as I read this poem, I can't help it. I'm going to be wondering what in the world he, whoever he was laughing at. And so if any of you want to have an extreme response, whether laughter or crying or throwing things, I'm fine with it. It's like a tradition has been started, and all I can do is just go with the flow. Okay, flack back. God is love if you're drugged or if you're not drugged. Ugh, have another puff. When did you get out of hell? Asks Patty's mom. Rosy cheeks smoothed with petroleum products, pockmarks and liver spots disguised and beautified, hanging by a thread, and the threads unraveling. Oh, those awards and emblems for the immune system. It works such a lot, overtime, double time, 24/7. It is what it is. Sun at midday zenith. Huh? Take one hit of acid, okay? Get the message, hang up the phone, blows the filters away and your sight's restored. I never went to hell, says Pouty, outraged. Oh, yeah, you're right. We built hell up around you. It is what it is. Sun at midday zenith. Chemical goop, chemical soup. Dichlorofluoromethane and polypropylene on top. One level down, dioxin, nanoplastics, carbon 8-chain forever molecules, perchlorate and sodium glyphosate somewhere under the face paint, leaking out their corroding cells. It is what it is. Sun at midday zenith. 200 plus chemicals and pesticides in our bloodstreams, not there before 1910, plus a few still unidentified. You're not feeling so good? Oh, they have a pill for that. Another one for side effects. One more for the second tier. Ugh, have another puff. The hippies were right. Study of environment poisons 1 year out of the dark ages, maybe 2. 8 mutations are enough to turn a healthy cell to cancer. 1 atom of plutonium is nice and will suffice, end quote. Makes dozens. No pill for that. Well, thanks, everyone. USA, Russia, France, China, Pakistan, North Korea. I've already got my plutonium quota. 10 or 15 atoms from the several metric tons you dumped into our atmosphere. Have another puff. Ugh. Plutonium in linoleum and petroleum. The hippies were right. Natural poets of the uncertain bridge, natural poets of the chaos future, natural poets of the chaos today. God is love. If you're drugged or if you're not drugged, ugh, have another puff. Atonal dissonance in the 20th century noticed something's wrong. Then no results. Now, results. Conscienceectomy tops the list. No end to the number of ills. You'll get no flack back on that. Stumbling into the 6th mass extinction, rolling joints and downing pills. You know, this journey is collaborative. And at some point I was going to mention that. And then as I went through this, there were so many places where I took humor from other people, like that sentence, that phrase, conscienceectomy. It's not mine. Someone said it and I noticed it, that it fit the poem so well. Well, the pagan view of poetry is the universe is talking to me and I'm just writing this stuff down. And the pagan view gives agency to the world, to the universe. Psychological view is more like this. Well, hell, the guy's writing a poem, he's obsessed with it, so he's sending out a vibe. So, of course, he sees a similar vibe in the world around him, and he notices. That gives agency to me and lets the world respond in a way that looks like it might have agency too, or be cooperating in the agency. Well, the difference between the pagan world and this one is about that much. You know, can you see through there? I don't think you can even see through the crack. So in the long poem that I just finished, the Hello Paradise, Paradise Goodbye, I thought I would honor all the people that collaborated in the poem, consciously or not. And I don't think the publisher was very happy with that because it added 15 or 20 pages to the manuscript. And even then, I only noted the ones that were big. Okay. That didn't sound much like a hippie, did it? A hippie would say, oh, yeah, the pagan world is still operating right now. We're in the middle of it. Well, maybe. But I think the other stuff sounded pretty much like an old hippie. Here's another one I wrote at the beginning of coronavirus. Going to market in first corona days of the sixth mass extinction. White clouds and blue sky in narrower and narrower layers, accordion down to the far horizon. Side effect of the virus. Clean air and minor sound. No particulates and no dioxides from idle machines. Walker approaches. Danger, danger. Elastic bubbles project around front to 6 feet, avoiding collisions, muggings, smallpox, macking, and now trillions of colorful little spiked balls. Maybe emanating from you, maybe emanating from me. To mask or not to mask. Open the market door using wrestler techniques. Turn sideways, elbow out, hook door handle, push, slide, turn, and walk in. To glove or not to glove. Let's see, grapes, dark chocolate, pistachios. Examine bananas, dish soap, and the store's first hand wipes in 10 days. Couldn't find TV. What quantity for 2 months? 2 days? Drag my thoughts through a sea of gluey tension. No stress. No stress. Clerk smiles and nods, a gentle connection. We handle the receipt with fingertips, mine sanitized, his gloved. If I could migrate this foundation compassion a half step closer, my heart would rejoice. Well, 100 steps closer. The last dollar bill the clerk touched might have carried 14 poisons, ending with HIV, MERS, meth, and now COVID-19, from nurse of patient on ventilator and struggling to breathe. Don't touch your face. Tap 4-digit pin on keyboard, spray sanitizer on fingers, wrists, keyboard, receipt. Wonder, on the way out, was I thorough enough? Can I retrace my steps, one careful foot in front of the other? A pair of toes hop across the neighbor's gray stairs, peeping as usual. No change. No change. 44th Street residents meet on porch and stoop. Loop hellos and wave arms and hip-hop steps across 2 lanes of virus-free air, or virus-laden air. To mask or not to mask. Hummingbird flits in and out tiny blue flowers in front yard, darts up and perches on electric wire exact size of its skinny legs, peers down. Still here, these bipeds? What happened to hurry up disease? And where's Pomo? Oh, I lost my fear of missing out. There's nothing out to miss. One hot summer's day, one hot summer's dehydration could slay the virus. Invisible mist in invisible air. Those minuscule clove oranges ripen their ubiquitous corpses for scavengers in the micro world. No stress, no stress. Walker with dog approaches. Danger, danger. Steps around parked car, skirting what I might, he might, they might carry. Wave, smiling. Hello, nice day. Subtext. Thanks for the consideration. Compassion and self-care link perfectly in first corona days of the sixth mass extinction. Don't touch your mouth. Don't touch your eye. Are we looking at sky for the last time? Will we wake again to another beautiful day in the sixth mass extinction? Someone said on hearing that was, well, you really caught the paranoia we felt in the first few weeks of COVID-19. And is it because I'm an old hippie or what? Or just brain damaged? I don't think that's gone away. I still wonder, should I mask? Should I glove? Don't touch my face? All that stuff. It's there, fully operational, but it's a little under the surface. Now I figured I'm still alive. My friends mostly are still alive. We've managed to realize we can still carry on some sort of life, even though the virus is all around or might be around. So I think I will read a section from the long poem that I'm delighted to be getting published by New Generation Beat Poetry Foundation, called Hello Paradise, Paradise Goodbye. You might go to the magazine that my students have set up. I'm really amazed that they did this. It's called wordswelljournal.org, and they have a section of that long poem on the website. And mostly they've gone ahead and printed their own work and people who submit to them. And you might submit to them if any of this stuff sounds like something that you do. They're always looking for new material. And the vision of wordswelljournal.org is something that we all computed, we all collaborated on. But it's from what I thought was so important about the Beat Generation, not the social persona, not the drugs, not the cheap gallow, not the sexual predation, not the bad words, but they had, well, I think the easiest way to put it is I heard them read at the Gate of Horn reading in Chicago in 1959. And that's when the Beats first jumped into public consciousness. Howl had already been under trial and had won its trial. It was judged having social redemptive qualities and therefore was not pornography. So Allen Ginsberg won that trial, but only the cognoscenti knew about that. But having an important academic literary journal thrown off campus because it had beat content, that was news. And that was part of the public consciousness at the time. And I went, and it was just so eye-opening. I didn't know what I was looking at. I was 17. But later, I began to realize what it was. And the interesting thing was that the guys at the back of the room, there might have been 300 people there, or maybe 100, but it seemed like 300, were saying, These guys are communists. Remember, it's 1959. The communist scare was still going full bore. These guys are communists, and they found out they couldn't influence the political process, so they turned to poetry. Well, we hear that now, and it's comic, isn't it? It's just, okay, they're going to influence our consciousness more by doing poetry. Well, maybe that worked. I don't know. But what amazed me, and amazed me to this day, was in Question and Answer, Gregory Corso, who isn't known as an intellectual, was asked what his influences were. And he just started reading the canon. And I thought, oh, he's lying. He's not telling us what his influences are. He's not revealing anything personal. He's just reading great literature, mentioning great literature. Oh, they started with Homer and Walt Whitman and Sappho and Simonides and Dante and Emily Dickinson. It's just the whole list. And much later, I thought, oh, compared to what I was hearing at the University of Chicago and the academic circles in the Beats, that was the difference. The Beats had studied literature, and they knew that being personal and grounded and passionate and fearless is what made great literature, what made literature that we relate to. And the stuff, the elusive, kind of quivery, I don't want to go there, stuff that the academics were doing was just, well, I don't know, something that academics could write essays about. But the Beats were writing great literature. And I say, okay, I'm a former beatnik, and I moved away from them and have become an old hippie. But what I dropped from the Beats was the social persona, all that junk that they did. And yes, the country was just wanting to party so badly. And Allen Ginsberg was so good at promoting playing and having fun and sex and drugs and bisexuality that it spread. But the part that I loved was just the honesty and the fearlessness of the beat writing. And Gregory Corso's answer to what were his influences was accurate for the generation. Okay, I'm probably pushing my 20 minutes here. I cut down what I'm reading, but I couldn't stop my mouth from keeping going. I'm pretty sure I've used my time.
You can go on for a bit long. I did say like 20 to 25-ish.
Oh, thank you, Diane.
So there's that ish on the end kind of gives you a little bit more
okay.
a little more leeway.
Okay, I'm going to use the ish and read.
Use the ish factor. Yes.
I'm going to write that down. So I want to read one section. The Hello Paradise has got 37 parts, and I want to read part 21, which is the potato chip section. It's a serious poem. It's about potato chips. Light embraces everything, everywhere the same. Into the market for a potato chip. 40 flavors in one cabinet, 50 the next, in the aisle, 450. Ice cream, same count water. Milk, wine, count double. Butter, vitamins, power bars. 450 chips, and one chip speaks to you. To me, nifty. Profusion, confusion, illusion, contusion, one tinge infused turmeric saline blue, perfect for the individual, perfect for me, perfect for you, no waste. Multinationals tuned to your special taste. Say it loud, aren't you proud? Look what we're handing down. 2,000 years later, no, 200,000 years later, flavors today, of course, fresh and we'll mesh with our eyes, nose, tongue out stroll through the aisle, married to our senses. Saxophone riffs circle the ridge and blow through trees. Ah, geez, so what? It's a potato chip. One salty, tasty tidbit of capitalism, one splotch on the big table. Don't trip. Slippery slope, ably greased with jism. Someone else's jism. Feed me. Feed me tastes so I won't grok my own. Clang. Your entire being knows you're alone, one among 450 and no touch. Face, chest, arms, hands, thighs, legs. No leisure, no contact, no bone. Skin-covered galaxies inside are opaque. Loneliness, the ache, too deep to grasp. Motherfuck, they got you, got me. We're marketeered. The tsunami creates our, the tsunami caresses our sweet spot, and we splash down in a river of tears. Stay healthy, work soft, be tender, stay fit, stay woke, be cool. Sparkling clear TV screens rotate on wheels, behind wheels, beyond wheels, before wheels. Actors, singers, spinning, waving, caressing gently your fragile, sensitive wrinkles, each one more intimate, and which one will reveal how to be more beautifully yourself. The rich, the healthy, the happy, realized people doing exactly what they want, so you can too. A siren song calling up your tender G-spot place, a smiling, sly, exquisite face proffers one secret desire, yours, mine. Every such spirit is terrifying. Ein jeder Anhel ist schrecklich. Feed me tastes so I won't grok my own. Through cracks in the mirror, you hear the undertone whisper, ah, soon you'll feel better, honey. Zone out and give them your money. Tears stream your cheeks and you laugh, laugh. Dude, they're acting. They're paid to look like that, so you will try that look. Why? Why do you feel like a marketing experiment? Because you are a marketing experiment. Turn around and I'm next, marketeered. Happy-go-lucky, singing a song. How could we go so terribly wrong? In one geologic instant, everything gelled. 13.8 billion years, and we learned how psychology works. We learned how to sell. Take it to the banks, marketers, who would have figured out without your help, Freud. But thanks. Say it loud. Aren't you proud? Look what we're handing down. Ably greased with jizz, someone else's jizz. Peril in the garden in peril. Hello, paradise. Paradise, goodbye. I'm not going to cry. I'll just say goodbye, paradise. Thank you. If I could sing better, I'd do the whole piece.
That was beautiful, Clive.
Thank you so much. You know, the tenderness and the tender honesty. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Diane. Do we do Q&A now?
Well,
Oh,
not
we're gonna do-
exactly Q&A, but I invite folks to unmute and well, actually, to unmute and make noise. Let's make some noise first.
Yeah.
Yay.
Way to go, Clive.
Yay.
Good going, Clive.
And then if anyone would like to say anything, you know, that's
Clive, did you know Ken Patchen?
No, I didn't. I loved his work, that whole thing
Oh.
about, especially that card. How does it go? War is not healthy for
Children
little
and other
kids and
living
children.
things.
Yeah, and other living things. Yeah, children. Yeah, that was marvelous. But I was on the East Coast, and of course he was here on the West. I grew up on the West Coast, but went east after going to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Where in the East?
The Lower East Side of New York.
Okay. Thank you so much for your reading. Being an old hippie myself, even though I can't get video right now, I related to some of that. Don't do much of that anymore, but still related.
So someone's talking who I can't see, huh?
Yeah, all you can see, I got my face on the screen.
It's Phil Harris, but some folks have problems with their video. So
last 2 times I used it, I didn't have any, but somehow tonight.
Yeah.
A certified old hippie, we can say, definitely. Even though you can't see him, he's definitely.
Oh. I'd like to ask Clive, how do you define beat poetry as it stands at this time, and what kind of material is the journal looking for?
I think they wouldn't say that it's beat. The journal wouldn't, but the essence of what they're looking for is something close to what the Beats did without the cheap wine and the play attitudes. It's something. What do they call it? Deep, heartfelt honesty is what they're looking for. And they're not shy about taking on problems of the world. There's some, from the sidelines, I keep saying, do a section on the war, or the wars, plural. And they're kind of shy about doing that, but there are some rants there about what's happening in Israel and in Ukraine and on the global chessboard. So they're not shy about taking on the big issues. And I really, John Wieners, early Michael McClure, Diane Prima, and Alden Van Buskirk, those are really the people who I studied and felt were tuned into. Well, let's see, Jack Hirschman called them the lyric core of the Beat generation. So those were the lyric poets. So you can get the same education I had by just studying the early works of those writers. Although at one point there's some people were talking about how the Greeks were the best writers of all, and already by the early 60s there were some beat writers getting pretty fancy, like Greeley and Olson, and they were hard to understand. And I thought, oh, it must be the Greeks must really be hard to understand. And I took a class at NYU in Greek poetry, and I was just astonished because the material was, once you translated it, it was so clear and so easy to understand and so human, like Sappho. Treat me as a friend would. Show me the favor of your eyes. That's 2,500 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's saying something that's so relevant today, someone who's maybe a friend, maybe not. That's the sort of thing that I think or wonder, am I really making a connection here or not? And there's Sappho 2,500 years ago giving words to that worry. It's amazing.
Thank you. And I loved your reading.
Thank you. So
Clive,
do we get to hear the open now, Diane?
I was going to give another moment or two for voices to
Okay.
come in, and then I was going to close off the recording part of it and have the open mic. So
Mhm.
if there's anyone who has anything more
I have
to say, Claire.
I have a question for Clive. What is the second word after word behind you on your backdrop?
Oh,
Well,
word
Yeah.
swell. That's the little emblem of the journal.
Ah, okay.
I was going with hell and swell and
Oh, I had no idea, but you're a
Oh.
poet, Claire, so of course you found lots of words to stick up there.
Hell will have used some of them. I know that for a fact.
Oh. Well, let's put our hands together once more. And thank you again so much, Clive. And we'll stop recording in a moment. Those of you in the Zoom room, please stay online if you'd like to take part in the open mic. Thanks to all our YouTube listeners. Please tune in for our next regular Coastside Poetry event on Tuesday, January 9th, when we'll welcome East Bay poet Deborah Bachels-Schmidt. Thanks so much for joining us at Coastside Poetry and for helping to keep the lamps of poetry burning.